In the grand tradition of movies where people make life-altering decisions based on a single conversation and a heavy dose of optimism, we meet Alex and Ben, a couple whose logic is as sturdy as a wet paper bag. The story kicks off with a classic workplace drama. Zoe, a talented designer with a knack for misplacing company resources, is about to be sent to the metaphorical dungeon by her boss, Jack. Jack is the kind of guy who screams about family values while threatening to call the police on a 24-year-old for a bag-related snafu. Naturally, Alex, our resident savior with a heart of gold and a very busy schedule, steps in. She doesn't just save Zoe, she convinces Jack to let Zoe work for her. Jack's response? Sure, I'll give you a year off to start your own line and hire the girl who just ripped me off. Happy holidays! It's the kind of business strategy that would make a Shark Tank judge faint. But in this world, it's just Tuesday. Meanwhile, Ben is having a very productive Tuesday of his own. At the ripe age of 43, with 2 mortgages and a savings account that currently contains exactly $0, Ben decides the best course of action is to quit his job. Why? Because Random House is interested in his book, provided he finishes it in 5 months. Nothing says financial security quite like betting your children's college fund on a 5-month window for a first novel. Alex, instead of asking questions like, how will we buy groceries, says, I love you. Let's get pizza. The plot thickens when Alex decides the best way to help Zoe, whose mother is in rehab and who has nowhere to go, is to move her into their spare room. Because adding a young, talented houseguest to a home where the husband is going through a midlife crisis and the wife is never home is always a recipe for a calm, quiet life. What follows is a masterclass in awkward domesticity. Ben and Zoe bond over basketball and vocabulary lessons. Zoe teaches Ben the phrase pavement pizza, a cheeky term for losing one's lunch, and Ben teaches Zoe the word myriad. It's basically Dead Poets Society, but with more laundry. The irony peaks when Alex tries to reclaim her cool status by squeezing into a dress Zoe provided. Ben is immediately on board, excited at the prospect of some long overdue romance. But in a classic be careful what you wish for twist, Alex is the one who puts on the brakes. She admits she's completely exhausted from her high-powered career. Instead of a night of fun, she'd rather wrap her lips around a hot cup of cocoa and disappear into her biggest flannel pajamas. It's a hilarious reversal. Ben is ready to go, but his corporate warrior wife is just too drained by the world of handbag empires to be anything other than a human burrito. While Alex is literally at the emergency room dealing with her mother's medical crisis, Ben decides that marriage counseling, which he suggested earlier that morning, is far too much work. Instead, he finds solace in Zoe's company. Zoe, who has been dropping hints like heavy luggage, tells Ben he's a catch and that she's jealous of Alex. The script takes a dark turn into the unintended extracurriculars department. While his wife is holding her mother's hand in a hospital, Ben is at home forgetting he has a wedding ring. Alex returns home, emotionally drained and seeking comfort, only to find the dramatic music swelling and the realization hitting that her flex time experiment has flexed right out of her control. She walks into a house where the boundaries have been completely erased, finding that the girl she saved has been quite busy making herself a permanent and very inappropriate part of the family. While the characters' choices provide plenty of room for levity, the script touches on several profound human experiences. At its core, the story explores the fragility of the modern family unit when pressured by the blurring lines of flex time. Alex's mission to implement flex time is presented as a noble pursuit of balance, but the reality shown is one of total fragmentation. Her desire to have it all results in her being physically present but emotionally absent, a phone surgically attached to her ear. The film offers a poignant cultural insight into the burden of this second chance. Alex views Zoe as a project to be saved, perhaps a way to compensate for the time she can't give her own children. However, by inviting a stranger into the sanctuary of the home, she inadvertently creates a vacuum that her husband Ben begins to fill with his own unmet emotional needs. The tension between Ben and Alex highlights a common midlife struggle. Ben's decision to quit his job is reckless, yes, but it stems from a universal fear of dying on the line, the dread of living a life that lacks meaning. Ultimately, the script serves as a cautionary tale about communication. Alex and Ben are so focused on supporting the idea of each other, Ben's book, Alex's career, that they stop engaging with the reality of each other. The lesson is clear. No amount of flex time or vocabulary building can replace the simple, difficult work of being truly present in one's own life.